Norway Chess 2023 started on May of this year, and everyone expected Magnus Carlsen to win it like he has done in the previous years. But to everyone's surprise, he was not even in the top 5. He lost to Fabiano Caruana, and to make it worse, Magnus did not win a single classical match in all 9 rounds. This is not what is to be expected of the best chess player, so people naturally questioned, is Magnus falling off? Well, the answer is complicated. We first need to investigate Magnus's history and his win rate in tournaments from 2020 to May 15, 2023. If we were to look at draws, Magnus has drawn 60% of all games. He has won 33%, but when it comes to losses, it was only 6%. This statistic shows something very interesting. Magnus has a 60% chance of drawing a game in a tournament, meaning 6 out of 10 games are expected to end in a draw. But there are variables to consider. One is that often grandmasters fear Magnus and his endgame potential, so they will often play as safely as possible and not really try to win the game. It is common knowledge that grandmasters can end the game in a draw way more easily than winning. But this means that oftentimes, it is Magnus who has to take the risk, and this partially explains how he loses 6% of the games. But this chart doesn't represent Magnus in the Norway chess tournament. Magnus losing once is somewhat correct, but he should have won at least 2 or 3 games, and he should have drawn 5 or 6 times. Instead, this was one of the worst tournaments in Magnus's career. So, what went wrong? It all has to do with preparation. Classical tournaments like the World Championship or the Norway Chess need intense prepping and training time. A good example is the game between Hikaru and Caruana. Hikaru knew he had to win, so he prepped into a position that Caruana did not have much experience with. He utilized the fact that the opponent only needed a draw, so Hikaru played something risky. This is the power of preparing, and it's especially powerful in chess. Even someone like Magnus cannot go in there unprepared and expect to win the whole thing. The games show that. Magnus did not win when the matches required heavy preparation, but instead won all the Armageddons. And for some of those games, he was almost close to losing, like insanely close. To some people, this was a realization that Magnus is not miles ahead of the competition. He has to train and sacrifice just like the other grandmasters. But this does not look good. At present, Magnus stands at the top, and him losing motivation towards chess would not only suck for the viewers, but for chess as a whole.